This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.
Hello and welcome to the program. Great to have your company. Today we go to Jakarta and look at labour protests in the capital. Myanmar Muslims from the Rakhine state have been rejected as political candidates. We go to the Cambodian-Thai border and look at the measures to be able to reduce the number of Cambodians crossing over illegally into Thailand. Al Jazeera with a report on the continuing protest against allegations of corruption against Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak, and Malaysia reducing its costs of riding a motorbike for the youth of Malaysia. All this and more here on the Phuket News Hour, brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. We'll keep you up to date with the stories making news locally, nationally and around the ASEAN region. We'll cross to the BBC for the world news as well. We make sure we keep you up to date here on the Phuket News Hour on Live 89.5, brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Lots of news on the way.
The news you need to know. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
To Cambodia, a report in the Bangkok Post that Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to scale back the use of violence against illegal border crossers, although Bangkok would not promise to stop shooting trespassers. Now, the agreement revealed on Monday by the Phnom Penh Post was reached at last week's fifth meeting of the governors of Thai-Cambodian border provinces in Bangkok. The Interior Minister of Thailand, his Cambodian counterpart, pledged to settle illegal migration and border crossing issues, quote, in accordance with both international and national humanitarian procedures of each country. Both nations did agree to continue to facilitate border crossing by seasonal workers and the fight against human trafficking and open new border checkpoints. Thai soldiers have killed 5 Cambodians so far this year, and another 15 Khmers have gone missing while illegally logging in Thailand, according to Phnom Penh. Fatal shootings of Cambodians by Thai soldiers have been regular points of contention between the neighbours in recent years. In 2014, 11 Cambodians were killed while illegally logging in Thailand, down from 34 in 2013. Phnom Penh repeatedly has asked Thailand to arrest, not shoot, illegal border crossers, but military officials have countered that they often have to open fire in self-defence. That report from the Bangkok Post. Still with the Bangkok Post and on Thai-Cambodia border issues, police arrested a foreign man described by authorities as, quote, the prime suspect in the bombing of the Erawan shrine that killed 20 people and injured 130. The arrest and the location of that arrest are still inconsistent, according to the Bangkok Post. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha said the suspect was apprehended while trying to cross the border into Cambodia at Ban Pan Rai in the Aranyaprathet district in Sai-Khao province. The commander of the 2nd Infantry Division, as well as the head of a task force, said police and soldiers patrolling in the area spotted the man about 500 metres from the Thai-Cambodian border. He was said to be carrying a backpack, wearing black glasses and a cap, and was walking through a forest near Bandong Nu village in Tambon Pan Rai en route to Cambodia. Search of his bag found some clothes, including a pair of shorts resembling those worn by the man in a yellow T-shirt who was earlier caught on CCTV camera footage allegedly planting a backpack at the Erawan shrine with a bomb inside. All this and more here on the Phuket News Hour. More news on the way.
Missed something? No problem. Listen to the Phuket News Hour any time of the day. Programs posted daily on the PhuketNews.com/radio and on our Facebook page, Phuket Live Radio.
A story from the Myanmar Times that Election Commission of Myanmar has rejected Muslim candidates en masse. 19 election candidates in northern Rakhine state have been barred from running by the sub-district sub-election commission, which called into question their residency status and the citizenship of their parents. Applications were submitted by 378 potential candidates representing a range of political parties across 5 districts in Rakhine state. Of these 19 candidates that were rejected, where the majority of the population is Muslim Rohingya, who are officially referred to as Bengalis. Most of the disqualified nominees are Bengalis, according to the district election officer. Among them, 9 are from the Democracy and Human Rights Party, 6 are from the National Development and Peace Party, and 1 is from the National League for Democracy, 3 are independents. Now, they've been rejected on the basis of citizenship and also the lineage of their parents, and this is part of the issue about the rejection of the Muslim Rohingya people as part of the citizenship of Myanmar in the Rakhine state, where the Myanmar authorities are effectively saying you're not citizens, you're not parentally linked to our country, so therefore we're not going to let you run in the elections. That story from the Myanmar Times. The Jakarta Post is reporting that thousands of labourers flooded the streets near the National Monument Monas on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. The park is expected to become the central point for a large Labor demonstration. A number of these Labor activists guided them to certain places to minimise disruption of traffic. Hundreds of labourers from various areas are heading to Jakarta. Hundreds of other labourers from various provinces right throughout Indonesia are going to be at a central point. Their aspiration is calling on the government to take action on the economic slowdown that had already affected their purchasing power. And according to the leaders of the protest, we are seriously affected by the condition of the Indonesian economy. Meanwhile, the Jakarta governor is prepared to welcome the labourers to the city for these demonstrations and protests. Various police chiefs and others are organising to ensure that their protest is peaceful and well ordered. That story from the Jakarta Post. More news on the way. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Your daily news fix, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Only on Live 89.5.
The Phuket News Hour, proudly sponsored by the Kids Club Phuket. This Sunday, the 6th of September, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m, the Kids Club invites you to a day of knowledge. It's a fun, information and entertainment afternoon and evening organised by the Phuket Mummies Club for this Sunday, the 6th of September, starting at 4 p.m. Browse the information booths and learn more about what the following groups and businesses have on offer for your children. Representatives from Jube Jube, Indigo Kids International Preschool, Oasis Ed Phuket, Kids Planet and Happy Baby. From 5 p.m. to 7 p.m, entertainment will include performances by dancers and acrobats, interactive games, fun contests and other activities for your children. If you want to know more, go to facebook.com, The Kids Club Phuket, and press Day of Knowledge. The Kids Club Phuket, open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m, 7 days a week. A great entertainment program. Mums and dads, pop along to Jung Salong, just across the road, and don't forget underground parking available at the Kids Club Phuket. The Kids Club Phuket, proud sponsors of the Phuket News Hour.
The stuff you need to know. 60 minutes of news on the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
Moving to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the increased protest against Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak is building. The man is trying to save his political career after tens of thousands of people took to the streets for a second day. Wayne Hay for Al Jazeera with this report, and I'll post the full Inside Story program on facebook.com The Phuket News and facebook.com Phuket Live Radio. Here's Wayne Hay in Kuala Lumpur.
They converged on the centre of Kuala Lumpur in the tens of thousands, calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Najib Razak. It hasn't happened yet, but the leaders of the so-called Bersih movement say their protest can still be called a success.
The pressure now going to be on the member of parliaments, for them to put in a vote of no confidence in parliament. And this is really a message, a true signal to the Prime Minister that he needs to go.
Bersih in Malay means clean, and the protesters believe the Prime Minister is anything but. As well as electoral and general political reform, they want Najib arrested on corruption charges. Last month, allegations surfaced that he had taken almost $700 million from the State Investment Fund, which he denies.
They would like if Najib would step down, but I think most of the public realise that's not in their hands.
This protest was also about the changing face of politics in this country. Malays form the majority of the population, but most of the demonstrators were young ethnic Chinese, who are increasingly becoming more politically active. 24-year-old Ava Tur says she and her friends are more informed than older generations, and therefore they feel emboldened.
Just try to voice out our opinion, and we know that we all know the news, all the news from the different parts, not only for the newspaper, maybe online and maybe on the international website.
They're also fighting for freedom of speech and the right to dissent. In fact, this rally was declared illegal by the government because prior permission wasn't granted. And the Deputy Prime Minister has said action will be taken in the days ahead.
That's Wayne Hay for Al Jazeera's Inside Story. And if you go to facebook.com, the Phuket News, and facebook.com, Phuket Live Radio, you're able to watch the entire 25-minute program. There is a complete guest list of commentators on the status of democracy in Malaysia and the future of Malaysia's Prime Minister Najib Razak. That report by Wayne Hay for Al Jazeera. More news on the way. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Today's important stories and the island's best music. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
The Vientiane Times is reporting that Champasak Provincial Police in Laos recently set up a roadblock to stop a pickup truck and seized more than 10,000 methamphetamine tablets found inside the vehicle. The police had received a tip-off that there was a shipment from one province to the next. They set up teams in various districts, spotted the vehicle travelling at high speed. They arrested a 21-year-old, 23-year-old and 16-year-old man who told police that they took delivery of the amphetamines from a drug trafficker in Khammouane province to take to customers in Paksi district, for which they received 1 million kip each. Champasak Provincial Police are continuing their investigations and trying to ascertain the identities of the other figures involved in the drug ring before sending these suspects to court. That story from the Vientiane Times. Moving to Hanoi in Vietnam, the Vietnam News is reporting that State President Trong Tan Sen reiterated Vietnam's desire to deepen ties with Venezuela to benefit both countries during talks with the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro Moros in Hanoi yesterday. Vietnam backed Venezuela's constitutional government led by President Moros and said to the host, adding that he believed Venezuelans would overcome challenges and reap success moving forward. President Moros said he hoped to learn about Vietnam's development and said that Venezuela considered Vietnam an important partner and was eager to further bilateral ties. Both leaders agreed to improve the efficiency of bilateral cooperation, which includes the Intergovernmental Committee for Economic Trade and Scientific Technological Cooperation and political consultations between the two foreign ministers. Ministries and agencies will be directed to fine-tune legal frameworks through negotiations and signing deals, while facilitating business operations across energy, oil and gas, agriculture and fisheries. That story from the Vietnam News. Moving to Putrajaya in Malaysia, the motorcycle fees to obtain a motorcycle licence will be reduced to tackle the scourge of those who ride without licences. Chara Revant with this report.
Transport Minister said the fee would be dropped from 350 Malaysian ringgit to 299 Malaysian ringgit beginning this month. He said, "We found that as many as 3 in 10 youngsters were still riding without a license. Such an act is a serious and unacceptable," adding that road safety was still a major issue in the country. The minister said driving schools had already agreed to the reduction, which will take effect when the My Lesson program is launched on the 15th of this month. The minister urged those riding without a license to get one before the enforcement agencies came down hard on them. The minister was speaking to reporters yesterday after the closing ceremony of the nationwide program that saw some 5,000 members of the voluntary 1JPJ Young Squad riding around the country in stages to share the Merdeka joy with less fortunate. The ceremony was closed by the Deputy Prime Minister.
Chara Revit with that report from the Star Online in Malaysia with the reduction in motorcycle licence fees. Let's hope that the youngsters of Malaysia will follow the many youngsters of Thailand who are also encouraged to get their motorcycle licences as well. More news on the way. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Missed something? No problem. Listen to the Phuket News Hour any time of the day. Programs posted daily on the PhuketNews.com/radio and on our Facebook page, Phuket Live Radio.
That is the News Hour for today. The program produced and presented by Tim Shaw, associate producer Chara Revitt, using the resources of the Phuket News Centre, the World Wide Web, Al Jazeera, BBC and CNN. Don't forget, you can catch the Highlights podcast by going to PhuketLiveRadio.com. Look forward to your company here again on the Phuket News Hour, proudly brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Have a great remainder of the day, and until we speak again, bye for now.
This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.